coming to you from deep beneath the murky waters that lie beyond the Lake Erie shoreline. This is the Cleveland Podcast! With Fred the Mud Monster and South Bay Caesar. Find us online at facebook.com/The Cleveland Podcast or email us at theclevelandpodcast@gmail.com. Now, join us as we journey through Northeast Ohio and the city of Cleveland.
Hey, Fred!
What's going on, Caesar?
Hey, Caesar. Like salad? You too?
Yeah, me too.
Oh, no. You know I do. Everybody knows I love salad.
Absolutely. Well, you have to spice up your routine. You need to try some new salads.
This is actually really horrible. You know how I am a strict person on what Caesar salad is? Mm-hmm. I made a Caesar salad yesterday. I had romaine, and I didn't have all the right ingredients.
Oh, and blasphemy.
And I made one of those. You ever go to a diner and you get a salad, and then they get like these huge pieces of orange cheese in there? And I made one of those just because I was out of the correct ingredients. I really feel like I failed the name of Caesar.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So today we have someone...
orange chunks of cheese.
Today we have someone very special on this podcast as our guest. He's not very famous, but he's
Not at all.
But he's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, thanks. Hello, everyone. Cleveland Podcast World. My name is Xavier Stewart, and unlike any other guest, I actually don't have any cool occupation that's related to Cleveland. So that's cool.
Yeah, he's originally from Baltimore, but he lives in...
Towson, which is basically Baltimore.
But he's also our first super fan.
Yeah, I don't have the badge yet on Facebook, but I'm working on it, I promise. So if you're interacting with any of their socials, then you might just see me. And I might be flexing my badge, which I probably will have by then.
Top fan badge.
Top fan.
Hopefully we will get some dirt on Fred.
That's true. I mean, you have some dirt on me, Caesar, and then, of course, Xavier, you have a lot of dirt on me.
Yeah.
Fun fact, when did we first meet?
So I do remember this story very distinctly because my mother will never let me forget it. I think it was, we were 12 years old. We were starting our first day of middle school. I came up to you. You know, you weren't 8 feet tall then. You were like 5 feet tall, but a 5 foot tall mud monster, when that's like in the room, it's kind of difficult not to catch your eye. And so I asked you about like what kind of games you liked. And you were like, well, I really like the Lich King, and I think it was like a Lord of the Rings type game.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly, I never read Lord of the Rings or like really heard of it or watched any of the movies. And I thought you said Witch King, and I was like, how does that make sense? Like, there's a witch and a king. Like, you have to pick one occupation because I don't know. As a middle schooler, I thought that was the line for me. Like, I didn't care what happened in middle school, but like, I was not going to let this guy tell me there was a witch king. And we had this argument for a good like 10 minutes, and our parents were just kind of looking at each other like, is this how teenagers like interact now? Is kids these days? And we've been going ever since. We never resolved that argument ever, but sure, it's fine.
I mean, you know, it's just the Tolkien type of writing. It just it always is bewildering, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness. I mean, I think actually we met when we were 10. That was because of that Singapore math class that we had. That was in the summer.
Yeah, well, that would have been like 11, I think.
No, well,
you might have been 10.
I was 10. You were 11.
Yeah, I was 11. Yeah.
So I assume we're going to be talking a little bit about Baltimore today, in addition to Cleveland.
Oh yeah, basically this is a compare contrast type of session today.
Yeah, and since I'm in the city and I watched the podcast, I was able to go to a few locations and probably a few more. So we could probably talk about that, sort of like a meta version of the podcast.
So then,
and you just came in for the weekend?
Yeah, I just came in for the weekend. My wanderlust is so bad that having a friend that's moved 6 hours away was actually really great for me because it gave me an excuse to just get in my car and just drive out to go see him. Just, you know, satisfy that itch.
And plus, I'm just a cool guy, so.
Oh yeah. I definitely meant to say that as well.
As you would say, I'm kind of like a meme back home. And
I think everyone would say that you are a meme.
Oh man! So then you obviously saw the first couple parts of Cleveland. What was your first impression when you first drove in?
When I first drove in, I definitely thought that it reminded me a lot of Baltimore. I still think it reminds me a lot of Baltimore. Like, it seemed like I was in a parallel universe where everything looked very much like Baltimore, but this is like clearly not Baltimore. And then when we got to sort of like the case section, or sort of like the swamp where Fred lives, it kind of looked a little bit more upscale than Baltimore does. I think Baltimore is gritty and like tries to be gritty, and I think Cleveland is gritty and tries not to be gritty. Gritty.
What do you think of that, Caesar?
So Baltimore's like fake gritty and Cleveland's like legit gritty?
Yeah, well, Cleveland's definitely legit gritty. Whether Baltimore's fake gritty or not, the nice parts are probably fake gritty, but...
But it seems like Baltimore seems legitimately the gritty, grimy. They're proud of the gritty, grimy. I mean, and I think us Clevelanders are not so proud of being gritty.
Yeah, well, you have to, you're comparing yourself to like Pittsburgh and like Detroit, so it's like, well, let's move away from that. But like over on the East Coast, us East Coasters, we are compared to like Philadelphia and Washington D.C. and stuff. So I mean, you got to have something that makes you stand out.
But Philly's really gritty, though.
Yeah, Philly. Well, not intentionally, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, you came on a beautiful weekend. Here, yeah. I woke up and I looked out the front door, and there was snow on the ground, a lot of it. And it didn't last very long because it started freezing rain. And then after that, it just started raining throughout the day. But one of Cleveland's deals is anytime there's like a all-star game or just any big event, everybody's like really concerned about when the entire world converges on the city of Cleveland. Please weather, and your fingers crossed, please weather. Hold out and don't make us look bad.
And it surprisingly does. The All-Star game was fantastic. The weather was gorgeous.
It was.
I mean, a little bit hot, but, it's the summer.
But I'm sorry, Xavier. It failed you this weekend.
Well, to be fair, I don't live that far away that I wasn't going to get snow if I just stayed in Baltimore. So it was either get snow in Baltimore or get snow in Cleveland, and I chose Cleveland.
Yeah, and get snow in Cleveland with your favorite mud monster.
Yes, with my favorite mud monster.
So this episode's kind of like Cleveland versus Baltimore, right?
Pretty much. Now, unlike the rivalry where the Ravens trounce the Browns every single time, we're going to try and show the Cleveland's actually the better of the cities. That's why I had to bring in at least one person.
Yeah, I've been brought on as like a jobber, sort of like in wrestling, just to take the fall here and make Cleveland look good. But, I'll do my best. I'll do my best to put up a good fight, right?
So, top 5 reasons why Baltimore is better than Cleveland. And then, Fred, you can counter. Okay, well, I thought about this for a little bit. I think the main number one reason has to be the sports teams, because in Cleveland, well, do I even have to say anything about the sports teams? Like, I think everybody kind of knows.
2016 championship, though.
Yeah, that's fair. You have that. But I mean, consistently, well, the Orioles, oh gosh, but consistently, like wall to wall, our 2 whole sports franchises do pretty well. Not like garbage
I will admit, though, that's true, because the Orioles have more World Series than the Indians do.
Yeah.
And the Ravens have more Super Bowls.
Yeah, so I mean, that's cool. I mean, we literally stole a franchise from Cleveland, so I mean, I think we should like...
You guys are treading on...
Well,
we're definitely on thin ice now.
Hey, I don't live in this city, so I feel like no one's going to follow me, but Fred, you better be careful.
Oh, it's okay. I have the brilliant ability to walk that fine line like a nice trapeze artist. like that guy in the 70s that walked across the Twin Towers. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like that guy, except I'd fall if I actually did it. So
they made a movie on that, right?
Yeah, they made a movie on that.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, is this entire movie a guy walking across the line?
Yeah. Intense.
I heard that the movie was good. But all I'm sitting there thinking when I saw the previews, is just like, is this just like 2 hours of a guy walking across a wire?
Yeah. They can make anything interesting, anything.
Yeah.
So number 2, I think is the Bay is better than Lake Erie. Because Lake Erie is a lake. It's kind of surrounded by stuff, and there's like Canada on the other side, which like Canada's pretty cool. But you have the whole Atlantic Ocean in the Bay. You can go to like London, I guess, or you could go to Africa. So just as a body of water, I think the Bay, which is attached to the Atlantic Ocean, is better than Lake Erie. And you're going to get the sense that I'm not really talking about the cities here. That's intentional because I think they're so similar. I can't even really say that like Baltimore is better than Cleveland. It's got like different cool stuff in it, but as far as I can tell, Cleveland's got some cool stuff that Baltimore doesn't have. So
wait, you don't want to go across Lake Erie to Point Pelee to go birding?
I mean, you could be like one of our other guests and canoe across over.
He did. That was pretty great.
yeah,
Was the Point Penelope? Was that what?
No, that's not where he went. He went to a place further east.
Yeah, further east. Yeah, but also if you canoe though, we have an island with a bunch of geese with geese poop.
yeah,
right?
Geese Island.
Beat that.
Sure. So a cool thing about Cleveland and Baltimore is that they're both very welcoming to mud monsters such as Fred. But I remember in high school once there was just this field full of geese. It's just covered in poop. And we'd go out there and play Frisbee a lot. And so I assume the island is basically that field, only it's an island now.
Yes.
Cool. Fantastic. Number 3, Old Bay is made in Baltimore. And that is a fantastic seasoning that is all over the country. So, I mean...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, 4, I think, is that Baltimore is actually like the best city in Maryland, which like might get kind of flack from people who live in Maryland that don't live in Baltimore. But like when you think of Maryland, you think of Baltimore. No one thinks of like Annapolis. Like who thinks about that? As opposed to Cleveland, who like Columbus is a place and Cincinnati is a place, even though I believe Cincinnati is really more of a Kentucky sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Baltimore actually like lives in the minds of people who live in the state, whereas Cleveland is like, oh yeah, Cleveland's up there, I guess. Northeast Ohio, maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah. And then 5, I think, is gonna be the schools. I think that if we're talking about Johns Hopkins versus Case Western, I gotta go with Johns Hopkins. Like, I'm sorry, I've been to both campuses now, and yeah, I think Hopkins probably wins out over that. And then if you're just working down the list, then you have Ohio State versus University of Maryland, and I think University of Maryland takes it out. Not in like a football game, not in a football game, but like just like as a school, I think.
No. No.
Yeah, I mean, hot take maybe, but I think so. Now every Ohio State fan who lives in Baltimore, and they're too many, are just going to be knocking on my door.
When the Big Ten,
more trouble.
When the Big Ten added Rutgers and Maryland rather than like Texas and Oklahoma.
I mean, those are 2 easy wins.
It was just like, what?
Yeah. It is 2 easy, simple wins.
Because the Big Ten wanted the DC market and the New York market. And that's the only reason why they chose Maryland and Rutgers. Like, who even watches Rutgers? Do people in New York City even watch Rutgers?
Well, you mean the Ray Rice came from Rutgers, you know?
Is that a Baltimore guy?
You know, Ray Rice, the guy who played for Baltimore, was an all-pro back, but he also was the guy who knocked out his wife in the elevator. You know, that guy.
Oh.
That guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that guy.
By the way, I decided to look up the scores for Ohio State versus Maryland football, and you might be surprised to look at these scores. So, Caesar, what do you think the score was? Just not even looking at it. What do you think the score was?
Last game, it's probably like, if I had to guess, it was like 40 to 14.
73
Whoa.
to 14.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, okay, so there's a lot of Schadenfreude. I think it's Schadenfreude. I definitely enjoy watching Maryland fail because I did not even go to Maryland. I went to Towson, which is probably more comparable to like Cleveland State or maybe like Dayton, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not mince any words here. I hate the University of Maryland.
Okay, so then we have a commonality there. Well, it's my turn to offer some counterpoints, which I've done some research.
Oh, okay.
Let me first say, point number 1, you're more likely to find a single person in the city. You know why?
Why?
Because people are 6.9% more likely to be married in Baltimore, which means that there's a 7% less chance that someone's married and single. So it's a better chance for a relationship.
Okay. Yeah,
Number
Cleveland,
2.
the city of singles. Sure.
The overall population density is smaller in Cleveland than in Baltimore. 5,004 people per square mile, 7,656 per square mile for Baltimore.
Sure.
In other words, you get a lot more space, a lot more real estate.
What's your source?
Oh, the sources?
Cite your sources.
I actually have it right here. It's called bestplaces.com, and it says 2020 Compare Cities People, Cleveland, Ohio versus Baltimore, Maryland.
Sure. Okay. I guess that'll stand up in court. Sure.
And then additionally,
Yeah, let's hear it.
because we have better real estate.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
cheaper.
believe that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
You can get a real nice house over here for for $200,000 or $100,000. In Baltimore, $100,000 might get you an okay townhouse.
No, it won't. So my family just moved out of Baltimore proper and moved out into like the surrounding area, and I can tell you, you will not get anything for $100,000. Like anything that starts with 100,000, you're not getting anything good for that.
See, but in Cleveland, you can get something nice for $100,000 and something $1,000. Wouldn't you say, Caesar?
You can get something nice for $80,000.
Exactly.
What a magical place.
Nice.
Exactly. Not only that, but the overall state of Ohio is much cheaper compared to Maryland. In fact, Maryland's one of the most expensive states in the country.
That's true. That is true.
So all that money don't go nowhere.
Yeah. Well, okay. I have a rebuttal before you continue. In Maryland, I can name quite a few places that I could go in under an hour and a half. What are all the best places to go that are under an hour and a half in Cleveland, that are like outside of Cleveland?
An hour and a half?
Oh, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of isolated love spots that they can go to.
You really can't leave the city in an hour.
Yeah.
Like you can't really leave the urban sprawl. So once you're out of there, you're in the country.
Wow.
You really are in the country at that point. I mean, at that point, it's small towns in Columbus, or it's Dayton, or it's Cincinnati, or something
Columbus
like
is
that.
2 hours away.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours. So beat that. 2 hours away, it's another
Cedar
city.
Point.
Yeah. Oh,
Cedar
Cedar
Point.
Point. That's nice. Well, in
Erie,
approximately
PA.
an hour, I can go to Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Probably comparable. Six Flags of Largo
No.
is like, oh no,
No.
but Hershey Park has a chocolate museum. I love chocolate, Fred.
I mean, I know. Fun fact: I've been to. You can tell this story.
What, the one in the elevator? That one?
No. You know about the fact that when it was my birthday when I was a kid, I would.
Yeah, I remember we went on that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stories came out of that trip. You have to be more specific.
Oh no, I'm saying that every year until around my 16th birthday, we went to Hershey Park. For my birthday.
Oh, I
And
didn't
so
know.
I do have fond memories, but let me tell you, Cedar Point though has probably better rides.
Yeah.
Did you take the Hershey Highway?
I think we did. I don't know. I don't remember. I just wanted to eat the chocolate and go on all the splashy splash rides.
Yeah, splashy splash.
Splashy splash.
Yeah, so that was probably a mistake there, but I think Cedar Point should be a ride, an attraction, something. Like we have to make that a thing.
I love it.
Yeah,
As they're going down, you throw salad out.
yeah,
Catch it with your teeth.
yeah. Put it on South Bay. South Bay's Cedar Point. Yeah,
Oh, jeez. Well, what point am I on exactly, Caesar? 4?
probably 4.
Around 4?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been.
Yeah, I think
I'm
you're
probably
on-
going to go beyond 4. Or 5.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's a Cleveland podcast, so yeah, I guess
Because
go on.
I'm the one in control here.
Yeah.
You're just a measly guess.
Yes.
Point number 5. Cleveland's a popular film location for movies, including Marvel's Avengers, including that one movie that completely shut down the entire university campus done by the Russo brothers.
Yeah,
That's right.
That one movie.
We don't
one
exactly
movie.
know the
It's not out
title.
yet. It's not out yet, right?
No.
Oh, it's not
in
out yet.
production,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it clogged up all the highways around here, all the roads around here, around Case. It was kind of huge.
Kind of huge.
So then we had Tom Holland was here. Tom Holland doesn't go to Baltimore, although Obama did, but that was because it was campaign trail.
Yeah.
But still,
Okay. Sure.
we have the place where we can get films, man.
We decide the president's here.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's true.
I mean, Cleveland's definitely a lot more democratic, and probably but it's a huge factor in making Ohio a purple state.
You got to win Ohio and Florida.
That's true. Although now it might be Michigan and Pennsylvania. There's a couple of new toss-ups in there.
Yeah, it's changing a little bit, isn't it?
It is. Where it might see a time where Ohio's purely blue or purely red.
Oh my.
All right, so I just went to areavibes.com,
Uh-huh.
which I've never heard of until just now.
Fantastic.
So I have no idea what their credibility is. Livability score comparison. Cleveland is 61 and Baltimore is 60. Cleveland
Ooh.
wins by 1 point.
Or 1 point.
Very close.
Oh, here's a big one, though. Here's
Okay.
a great
Oh, okay.
fact.
Sure.
So this is done. This is talking about the murder rates of the two cities.
Oh, I don't think we want to go here. I don't think either city wants to go here.
Oh, you'll be surprised.
Oh, will I?
Cleveland is not even in the top 65 for 2019.
For 29. Okay, sure.
Guess where Baltimore is?
1 or 2?
2.
2. Okay, sure.
Whoa.
In other words, you're not going to get. You might have a much smaller chance of getting shot. Much smaller chance.
But I'm telling you, the risk is worth it. And let me tell you why.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, we have Power Plant Live, very great event center.
Well, we have the House of Blues.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. That's fine. We both probably have event centers like that. Misplay by my part, probably. But think about the water and this sort of ocean town. There's ports. That's just a nice harbor vibe that you don't really get from Cleveland because it's sort of like a factory town. We have factories, but they're like on the water, sort of near. I think that's just a cool image that Baltimore has.
I feel like there's plenty of places you can go to the ocean where you don't have to get murdered.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I will admit, though, the harbor, there's a much better harbor. Yeah. We kind of just have, here's a bunch of boats. However, we do have a nice park on the shore, though, for Cleveland. So beat that. We have a nice, we have never mind. Baltimore's nice parks. Oh, shoot.
Honestly, I think as a tourist, I do like the parks in Cleveland better than Baltimore.
Woo!
Mostly because there are a lot more parks. And I think they're a little bit better woven into the city as opposed to in Baltimore. You get a hard, like, this is a park, this is a city, this is a park, this is a city. So that's cool. And then, to be honest, I looked at a TripAdvisor once for Baltimore, just like the top things to do. And I think maybe 6 out of the 10 had you leaving Baltimore and going somewhere else. So maybe I'm not the best person.
You did bring up a good point earlier. How far away is Washington, D.C.?
Maybe an hour.
Yeah.
How far away is Philadelphia?
An hour and 15.
How far away is New York City?
Probably an hour and 30.
It's like 3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Well, with traffic,
Well, I think it depends on who's driving, honestly.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Nate, who actually commented on our Facebook page earlier this week, that we're going to use a little bit later.
Yeah.
He's traveling up to New York City to spend the weekend there.
To visit his sister, I think?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's just taking the train. It seems like a nice trip.
Yeah, so
Right.
Baltimore is actually a great city for going somewhere else.
And you can be in the and you can be in the South pretty fast too.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know
some might
if
even
you
argue
want
that
to be.
you are living in the South
Oh,
in
okay.
Baltimore. Some,
Arguably.
yeah.
I say so, but that's because it's literally south of the Mason-Dixon line. And that's, by definition, south.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't the Mason-Dixon line on the Virginia-Maryland border?
No.
It's the Pennsylvania-Maryland border.
Oh,
It's like a straight line.
so Maryland is literally the South.
Yep.
It's the northmost south city.
Exactly.
I did
Baltimore.
not know that.
Yeah.
As they say about Baltimore, it's the first city in the south and the last city in the north.
Yeah. We've even had discussions like in school of like, do you think Baltimore's in the south or the north? And like the class is just split because it's just like, I don't know. It's got our own things going on.
All right, so I'm going to go back to areavibes.com.
Yeah.
All right. We start out pretty well, both of us.
We're just slaughtering you here.
Yeah.
Both of us. Amenities. Cleveland, A+.
A+.
Ooh.
Okay.
Subjective grades, man.
They probably never have even actually been to the city.
Or maybe they are from here.
You ever see those lists and like you realize that these people have no idea what they're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about?
absolutely.
Baltimore also gets an A+.
Oh,
So
okay.
amenities, we both do very well.
That's good. It's good to hear.
Cost of living, Cleveland gets a B+, and Baltimore gets a C-.
Aha!
Yeah.
Cheaper.
Not
Nice housing.
Yeah. Sure.
Then we get to crime.
Oh.
We both fail.
But we don't kill as much. We just rob more.
Yeah.
Oh, I told you that statistic earlier this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cleveland, a city of, what's our population? I meant to look that up.
Hold on. One
Hold on,
second.
he's gonna look it up.
I have it.
All right, I'll move on while we're waiting here. Schools, Cleveland wins, D-. Baltimore, F.
Oh my. How do you feel about that, Fred? Because I mean, you are a product of those Baltimore schools, those F-rated Baltimore schools.
Well, the issue is the top schools in Baltimore are probably better than the top Cleveland ones.
Oh, okay.
The problem is that it's the bottom and the middle. the middle Cleveland schools are just a little bit stronger, just because it's just a marginally better overall system. But again, you D- to F. I mean, I've gone into those schools to do little quick education sessions and wonderful things like that, and I'm amazed to see the lack of just knowledge that some of the students possess, and I don't blame them. It's a different environment, but those students really there were some high schoolers that didn't know things that I knew when I was in 5th grade that we were taught in Baltimore. But then again, we went to the top schools, not private, but public.
Yeah, the top public schools.
And that makes a world of a difference.
I've been told that Cleveland has some schools where if you're a good student or you want to be specialized, you can go to like the better schools within the district.
Yeah, that's probably where the difference is, because public-wise, I think Baltimore's a little more top-heavy. Mm-hmm. But then with the private schools, I think Cleveland might be a smidget better, because you do have like Loyola. Or St. Ignatius. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with that great football team, they're a pretty decent school.
Yeah,
I mean, at least for athletics.
I don't know if it still is, but at one time they were one of the best football teams in the nation.
Yeah.
As far as basketball goes, like for once, our old high school is actually doing pretty well, and I think probably not as good as like the Cleveland high schools in basketball, but we're like nationally ranked now. Yeah.
Oh, actually, we are better than all of them.
Okay, well,
technically, because we're ranked 24 on the rankings, or it's in the 20s.
Yeah, we're on the rankings, which is big news in and of itself.
We can't say too much about it, because then you'll go, so Fred went there, and then it'll just start to be tracked. Start to be tracked down, and then we're in trouble.
Yeah, they'll find your swamp.
And then I don't want people in my swamp. I'm like Shrek. I don't want anyone in my swamp.
Yeah.
But according to areavibes.com, Cleveland wins D-. Woo woo!
That's right. We're marginally better.
Marginally better. So one thing I saw like in my own research for this, like a lot of people talk about the future and like where the cities are going. And that seems to be something that Baltimore really excels in versus Cleveland, which seems to maybe not do so well. So do you have any reaction to that, Fred, Caesar?
That's the same thing that people say here.
Yeah.
People say that the city's getting better. You hear it all the time.
Sure.
You go to certain neighborhoods and yes, it is getting better. You go to other neighborhoods and not so much.
It's becoming more gentrified.
I think I saw an article earlier this week, and I wish I would have written it down, that said Cleveland economically is not getting any better despite what everybody thinks.
In part because it's a balance too, because there was somewhat of a boost with LeBron, and now that LeBron's gone, things have sort of tanked again, and overall it makes us around the same position than where we started.
Well, it's very unfortunate.
If your city relies on one guy to make it,
that's not good.
Yeah, if your basketball team / city relies on one guy. Then.
But the hard part also is that this is going to get political. You know, this is actually something I was going to say is a little bit better. The Cleveland politicians they don't get arrested for federal crimes, unlike some Baltimore politicians.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's just talk about the fact that in Baltimore you can commit a crime and then the next election cycle come back and say, "Hey guys, I'd love to be your mayor," and you can be third in the mayor voting.
All right, wasn't it Sheila Dixon?
Yeah, that was her. And we're gonna go through the whole thing again with a different mayor now, so that's fun.
Well, still, at least we've had our same mayor for about 16, 20 years.
Yeah, you do like the consistency. If you could do that with your head football coach too, then I think you'd be doing great.
Okay. But do you have a basketball team? No, you don't.
Yeah, we have the trash Wizards. You have to drive down to
and
DC
who has a championship? We do. And you got, and
we have less than nil because we don't even have a basketball team. I don't claim the Wizards.
The Wizards, fun fact though, the Wizards won 2 championships, both in Baltimore.
Yeah, so we can claim that in the same way that you can claim all that.
But you do
Cleveland
have
success.
Ovechkin.
That's true. It's true.
And we don't have a
hockey. Well, but that's Washington.
We do have
DC.
the Calder Cup champion.
That's right. We at least have a hockey team that's our own. You guys don't even. You probably do.
No, we don't have a hockey team.
Former Calder.
We don't have a hockey team at all.
Oh, see?
Yeah. We don't even have a minor league team.
Still, though. NBA champs with LeBron.
Well, this is a tough one. More sports teams here in Cleveland than in Baltimore.
Yeah. But I think we have more championship sports teams.
When was the last time the Orioles really won anything? They've been good over the past couple of years, but we almost beat the Cubs. We almost did.
Well, to be honest with you, I think most people in Baltimore would probably just put the Orioles in the cupboard and just bring out the Ravens. Like, hey, look at all that success. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can say. That's probably better.
Yeah.
Did we ever figure out what the
Yes.
Cleveland population is?
Here's according to the same website, Best Places 2020 compare cities people, Cleveland, Ohio versus Baltimore, Maryland. The population for Cleveland is 388,812. Baltimore 619,796.
388,000 people in Cleveland, right?
Yep.
And this is what we talked about earlier this week. How many murders were there in Cleveland? Do you remember that?
I don't even remember.
I think it was around 130 some.
Right.
And for some reason, I saw a beautiful picture of Hong Kong, so I wanted to know more about Hong Kong. So I just Googled it, and I'm like, I wonder what their crime rate there is. They have 7 million people, and they average around 20, 30, 40 murders a year.
It's a different culture. It's different punishments. Much different punishments.
Yeah?
Probably more strict.
Have you been following the protests?
Oh yeah. Actually, I asked a friend who came along with Xavier that question.
Yeah?
And she had a great answer, but she's not here right now.
Yeah. It's too bad we couldn't get her in the studio with us.
Too
Would have been
bad.
nice. Yeah. Probably could debate better on this topic than I could, but
Perhaps.
maybe you do. Yeah. One other thing that I'm on citydata.com, which I've heard of that website, so a little bit of
Okay.
credibility.
Okay.
As far as Baltimore versus Cleveland, and it looks like there's the Chesapeake, obviously. The Baltimore region has more history, just from the fact that it's been a city longer than Cleveland has. So
Fair.
there's that. And then someone says that Cleveland depresses them and the architecture is nicer in Baltimore. So that's one opinion, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure what part of Cleveland and what part of Baltimore we're looking at, but the bridges. I'm a big bridge fan, and as far as I can tell with the bridges here, I do like the bridges in Baltimore better.
Really? You like the bridges more in
Yeah.
Baltimore than Cleveland?
Yeah, we have like a nice one sort of on North Avenue, that North Avenue bridge next to Penn Station. I really like the multicolor bridge. Very, very nice. And it's like the unofficial center of the city.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
It's somewhat fair. I did like those crocodile mural.
Oh, yeah, the crocodile mural is very nice. Very nice. I was actually looking for one. Cleveland. I
Wait,
couldn't
where
see
is that exactly in Baltimore? I can't remember.
it. It's over by Hopkins.
Oh, that's right.
Sort of, kind of.
Okay, according to areavibes.com,
Yeah, my
Our
growing new favorite source.
our trusted source,
Yeah.
we have employment. Cleveland gets an F,
Oh, no.
and Baltimore gets a D minus.
Yeah.
You guys win.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, there are some pretty bad statistics about our employment. I think our poverty line actually is higher than the amount of people in poverty under the national rate for poverty. We actually have more,
Sure.
but I don't know. Cleveland's a little more positive.
Sure. I mean, yeah, you had a parade over going for a winless season, so I mean,
Exactly.
that's cool. It's very nice.
I feel like-
yeah.
I feel like areavibes.com is probably about as reliable as jokesforus.com.
Oh yeah, but those horrible jokes. Oh my god! But then again, you guys have some huge things that we have in our city that you don't.
Sure, go on.
The Cleveland Museum of Art, baby.
Yeah,
You got your Caravaggios, your Rembrandts, your Picassos, your Degas, your Gaudins, or
The
Gauguins.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do
Yeah.
you guys have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, they don't. They ain't got nothing.
Well, we do have the Walters Art Museum. It's pretty nice.
Okay, that's true.
We have
That
the
is
Washington
nice.
Monument. Do you have a Washington Monument? I don't think so. And then
Washington Monument. Oh, that little
yeah,
thing.
that
Oh,
Washington,
come on.
that other Washington Monument.
Oh,
that we
the
have.
tiny one.
But it is a Washington Monument.
You know, Washington was fat and had horrible teeth. He didn't even have teeth.
Wait. There's another Washington Monument?
There is.
We have our own
Please
Washington
explain.
Monument.
Please explain.
I mean, it looks very okay. Imagine the Washington Monument that you actually think of, and then imagine a smaller version of that just kind of been nestled into the city. And there you go, Washington Monument.
Like a tinier. How do I say this?
It's a tinier phallus.
yeah, yeah. It's also the original Washington Monument.
Oh, ooh, that
Is it really?
Yeah.
that's some serious points.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have
well-
Fort McHenry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah,
But do you have Michael Jackson's glove? That is the question. You did not have Michael Jackson's glove.
That's fair.
No.
I feel like we should build a tinier Washington Monument here.
Yeah.
Even smaller.
Right.
Even smaller, yeah. Right. It'll go right next to Caesar Point.
Well, no, we have some other great stuff too. Like, I think we were the center of. This is the first. We have all those medical accomplishments, like the first successful blood transfusion, like we learned in the medical podcast.
But do you remember what the top hospital is in Baltimore? Johns Hopkins.
But did they do a blood transfusion? Is the first successful blood transfusion? No.
That's fair. We actually had a quibble earlier on about if it was the first successful blood transfusion or if it was just the first blood transfusion. So happy to report it is the first successful blood transfusion.
Exactly. And there's a number of other successful cardiovascular inventions and big time surgeries that happen here in this city. Baltimore is just like, well, we just get all the people, we get all the smart kids, and we put them in the city, and all of a sudden they become doctors, and all of a sudden, wow, we're so good.
Well, didn't we have a lot of like Ben Carson's work too?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
But wait, Ben Carson, that's a claim to infamy. That's bad.
Well, we only talk about the good parts of Ben Carson, honestly. I mean, he did that thing with the babies where he split the, I think it was like conjoined twins.
Conjoined,
maybe? Yeah. That thing with the babies. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. That's very complicated.
Did you have a guy considered for the U.S. Surgeon General? No, we did in Cosgrove.
Yeah, but how many people have heard of that person?
A lot. It's the freaking CEO of Cleveland Clinic, or was.
And how many people have heard of the Cleveland Clinic?
A lot. They're all over the world.
That one's actually well known. Yeah.
Like they have a London campus. They have one in Dubai.
Yeah.
They're pretty up there.
Okay, Cleveland Clinic versus Johns Hopkins, I feel like.
Maybe it's because I'm from here, but I've always thought the Cleveland Clinic, at least back in the old days, was as well known as like the Mayo Clinic. And
It's up there.
Yeah.
I say it cancels it out. How about that?
Yeah, it's a draw. As far as elite medical institutions, we're probably at a draw.
All right. According to areavibes.com,
Yes.
who has got more promotion today than they've ever had before.
Yeah.
Housing. Who do you think wins this one?
Oh, that's Cleveland. Easily.
Cleveland gets a C minus.
Sure.
And Baltimore gets a C.
Wow.
I don't think they know what they're talking about.
I think they never visited.
Yeah. Well, I think if you expand out to like the metro areas of each, then the housing gets a little bit even.
They don't really say. There's really no context
That's
here.
true, 'cause,
just
like-
numbers.
Yeah, it's not city vibes, it's area vibes. So I think it might be the area of Baltimore.
Because Shaker Heights has got some big houses for cheap.
Okay, the last category.
What's that?
Weather. Who do you think wins this one?
Oh no,
That's a tie,
That
I
might be
think?
Baltimore.
Baltimore wins handily.
Oh, fantastic.
You got a C, which is like kind of a passing grade.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, we get an F.
A D.
A D.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is better than an F. But I had some additional information.
Oh, gosh.
Does Baltimore get snow, freezing rain, and rain all in the same day?
Exactly.
I mean, probably, yeah. Like, I feel like
not as violently as we do. It can go like that to that to that.
I look outside at this Cleveland weather, this beautiful Cleveland weather, and it really reminds me of home, honestly. This nice freezing rain, sleeting weather.
It's not usually like this. It's more this time of year. It's usually more like
Just pure cold.
20 degrees colder, and it's just been a really odd, strange 2019, 2020 winter has been really warmer than normal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have Steve Harvey? No, you don't have Steve Harvey. How about that?
I didn't know you had Steve Harvey.
Oh,
That's
we
actually
have.
pretty cool.
Steve Harvey is from here. His story is from here.
Did LeBron James come and go twice?
Did he leave and come back to? Well, actually, he's from Akron, and I always think that's a really weird. Like, I get Akron and Cleveland are like pretty close, but like Akron's like a whole city that's not Cleveland. Let's be clear.
Well, LeBron played for Cleveland.
That's true.
With that all being said, well, we're going to take a quick break because we need to gather our notes for both sides.
Oh, gosh.
Good debates, everyone,
Yeah,
so
for the
far.
verdict, sure.
The fireworks will continue in the second half.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Meditation Minute. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie. Close your eyes. Concentrate on your breathing, slow and deep. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Oh! I got hard part-time to be in meditation because you need energy in your speech, brother.
Who are you?
I am Fred Hulk. I am many things. My voice is Zen.
We try to find solutions through holistic methods
Sounds like a bunch of baloney. It's all about steroids. Get in the weight room and pump yourself some iron and get some needles in your arms. Now imagine you're on the ocean, butt naked, and you're having sex. That is Zen. The moon is full. You hear a whale having sex with a turtle. You visit your safe space, theclevelandpodcast.com. You visit Facebook, and you flex your bicep, and you like and share the podcast with your friends that all have bulking, humongous triceps. You download all the episodes onto your smartphone. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
I find spiritual happiness in the words that you use.
Still like salad.
I love it.
But Cleveland salad is better than Baltimore salad. I said it right here.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not a salad expert. I'm no Caesar, so
What kind of salads do they eat in Baltimore anyway?
Crab salad.
yeah. There's definitely salad with crab in it. I wouldn't be surprised to find myself eating that. But I think the same salad as most people eat. We don't have any special salad.
So what you're saying is you guys have crabs?
Yeah, we do have crabs. That's definitely. I'll never not say we don't have crabs. We have crabs.
Indeed.
Lots of crabs.
Let's just say that there's some very interesting. Not only do we have Xavier commenting on the Cleveland versus Baltimore debate, but we have some people who talked about Cleveland in general. Thanks to our numerous listeners that have responded to some questions that we posted on Facebook. The question that we asked was related to question for an upcoming podcast episode. What do you love about Cleveland compared to other places you've visited? What's something that you preferred from other cities?
People who have lived in multiple cities.
Let's start off with Nathan.
A friend of the podcast.
I believe the best thing about Cleveland is the fact that it's large enough to be considered a city, but also a smaller city where people can network. It is easy to be in a city like this in order to get involved and put yourself out there. It is comparable to going to a small college, easier to make a splash as opposed to a bigger school. As a former meetup organizer in Cleveland, I was able to start something like Ultimate Frisbee and grow it to where it is known citywide. I also have spread influence to other businesses, putting my name out there. In this city, one can be a leader and help grow the city as long as one takes the opportunity to do so.
And he moved out to your neck of the woods.
Yeah, he moved out to D.C., where he mentions that in D.C. I've taken over the Frisbee group, but I've also noticed it is harder to become involved because there's a lot that is already in place.
And he actually, after he sent us that message, he actually called me and he was talking about it. And he makes a good point. Because it's a difficult city to live in, there's a lot of poverty. There's not a ton of leadership. It's easy to become that leader here.
Right. That's true. There's a power gap.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we have another comment from Mr. Jacob Chabowski, someone that we might have interviewed in the past about photography and money shots. Not like that, though. The photo shoots that get money, not the...
I thought we were trying to be good.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Chabowski says, and I quote, "What I like about other cities, growth. Cleveland continues to shrink in terms of population. That's very much true. In fact, Cleveland's population shrunk far faster than Baltimore's, according to percentages, as Cleveland has lost almost 20% of its population since 2000. In fact, 18.7. And Baltimore's only lost 4.8 since 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty big statistics there. And then going back, however, to Jacob's comment, Cleveland continues to shrink in terms of population. Austin, Nashville, and Tampa are all booming with population growth, especially with millennials. It is nice to feel that energy. Then he says, what I love about Cleveland, the diverse neighborhoods. Tremont, Ohio City, Shaker Square, they all have very different and distinct offerings. I don't remember the Baltimore neighborhoods being that different. Huh?
I would disagree with you there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're talking about like Butcher Hill, Remington, Hamden. We've got Federal Hill, and then you start moving north. There's a lot of other residential that are very similar neighborhoods, like in between these two. But you go up to Towson, Cockeysville, even that's kind of like not Baltimore, but like it's pretty much Baltimore. Pretty much Baltimore. They're very distinct. We have the most neighborhoods of any American city, I'm pretty sure. So that's That's something.
Oh, I didn't know that, and I'm from there.
Yeah, diversity versus just sheer quantity. That seems like a good counterpoint comparison.
You kind of got me there.
I will say it is frustrating that Cleveland's not growing in numbers.
Absolutely.
The suburbs are doing fine.
Oh, they're doing great.
Yeah.
But the city of Cleveland itself, as I think we talked about it earlier in the first segment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not growing economically, no matter what it seems like. It seems like the city's getting better, but the numbers aren't agreeing.
We have another comment from Jake, someone we might have interviewed, maybe, possibly.
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm.
And his khakis.
No, we shouldn't say that. We'll get sued by State Farm.
No, I don't
But that's
think
what
so.
Jake calls himself.
It's Jake from State Farm. It's fine. He says, a balance between city and nature. Park systems are great.
That's an excellent point. You know, you can be in the city and then you can be in a national park in like 15 minutes. You could go from downtown to the national park in 15 minutes. And there's Rocky River Reservation and there's Brecksville Reservation.
You may have Fort McHenry, but we have a bunch of animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creatures.
Yeah, between the zoo and I guess national park. That's a lot. We just have our zoo. I think our zoo is very nice. What do you think about our zoo? When's the last time you went there, Fred?
Oh, God, it's been almost a decade ago.
Really? Yeah.
A long time.
I really like our zoo. I think it's a very nice zoo. I don't have a lot of zoos to compare it to. I haven't been to the Cleveland Zoo yet. Hopefully, maybe I'll see it.
So how far is Toronto away from here?
Toronto's about an hour and a half plane ride.
Oh,
hour
really?
Plane ride?
No, like
Yeah.
a drive. Like a drive.
Oh, drive? Oh, I have to.
I think it's like 4 hours, 4.5
Yeah.
hours, something like that. It doesn't matter. But so it's a day drive or maybe
Yeah.
like an overnight trip.
Yeah.
I recently found out that Toronto has the third best, like, you know, it's one of these lists.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all subjective. But multiple websites listed Toronto Zoo as the third best in the world.
Wow.
So
And
we can
that's
get
only-
to the third best zoo in the world. How about that? Huh?
Yeah.
And that's an overnight trip from here.
Sure. Oh, I wonder what the first two were.
Oh, I don't remember. I'll try to look it up real quick. I think one of them was overseas and maybe the other one was somewhere here in the nation. But San Diego ranks pretty high too, I think.
That's true, but then again, we have a bunch of black squirrels.
Yes.
You do not have that.
Well, we actually do have a lot of black squirrels in just the Maryland area in general. I think there was even like a girl who was known for being like into squirrels. I think I remember that story. She like could commune with the squirrels on her school's campus, and she was known as the Squirrel Girl. And the squirrels were very sad when she graduated. Very sad.
Okay, here's the list, at least the quick list that I can find. Omaha Zoo, which that's shocking. But I look at this other one that says Singapore Zoo.
Okay, sure.
So there's two different lists. There's multiple lists, but the one consistent thing seems to be the Toronto Zoo at 3.
Yeah.
And the other one's Wellington Zoo in New Zealand. And there's one in Vienna, Austria on one of the other lists. San Diego, Singapore. They're all different. But one of the regular things that you see on all of these is that the Toronto Zoo is ranked number 3.
Yeah.
And I'm going. I think that's my on my 2020 bucket list.
Ooh.
And you can take an overnight trip. You can't get to Toronto overnight except by plane.
Well, when we're talking about overnight trips you can take from Baltimore, I think we've got you beat. So we've got New York, we've got Philadelphia. If we're talking about 4 hours, you've got Pittsburgh.
Who wants to go there?
Yeah, right. we both Baltimore and Cleveland hate Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we've got DC. We've got we've got Richmond. Richmond's very nice. Virginia Beach, lots of beaches. Hobith or even the Hamptons if you're like wealthy.
But do you have Erie, Pennsylvania? That is the biggest question.
Yeah,
You guys laugh.
Pennsylvania.
You guys laugh, but I went to Erie, Pennsylvania last year. It's surprisingly cool. It's small. It's a small town, so you really wouldn't think about it. But they have this tower that it cost the city $2.1 million to make.
Wow.
And you go up there and you can just look around and you see the water and like the boats going up. You know, you want to do this in the summer, not in the, not this time of year because all there is snow and ice now. But there's like a beautiful island out there, and it's an amazing city to visit. And if you live in Cleveland, you should at least do it once.
Also, you can get to Niagara Falls in about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Cleveland.
Yeah, it's true.
And you can't get there
Well, I mean,
in 3 hours.
New York City has a lot of stuff that I can't even think of right now.
But waterfalls.
Yeah, waterfalls.
Lots of water. What does New York City have? Rats?
Right.
Times Square.
Yeah, Times Square is nice.
A tall building that's overrated. A bunch of tall buildings
several tall buildings
that are
may
overrated.
or may not be overrated. Who
It was
knows?
a very old article, but do you remember the article where all the rats would convene in the KFC in downtown Manhattan?
Oh yeah. See?
And people would walk up to the window at night and watch the rats hanging out in KFC.
That's actually that's kind of nice. I'd be into that. Yeah, that's an
And
attraction.
think about it too. A horror thing about Baltimore: king rats, huh?
King rats. Yeah, I've actually seen a few king rats in my time, and
We don't have those things, and that's a good thing.
Well, when you have almost double the people in the city, things can get pretty congested.
But we have more free space to do what we want.
We have one more comment, don't we? On Facebook?
We do, though. I'm about to get to it, though.
All right.
L.
Yes, L.
Everyone, especially in Lakewood, is really nice. There's like an unwritten law that you have to say, have a good one before leaving the elevator. You can make connections with people. You're just meeting on the street. Something I don't like, the public transit could be better. Also, having more bike lanes. Other big cities have a lot of bike lanes. Also, Clevelanders are really into eating local and sourcing local ingredients. Ha!
Yeah, I think on the transportation side, it's really like a weakness versus weakness. Baltimore transportation, not that good. We have a subway system. A lot of people don't know that. We do have a subway system. It's like one line, goes like north-south, but that's a thing.
I will agree. Of all the cities I've ever lived in, Cleveland seems to be the most locally minded city. Yeah.
See, in this case, being narrow-minded works out.
And yet you still aren't nicknamed the Charm City. Why is that?
Because we're the forest city, baby.
Yeah, that's okay. It's pretty nice.
We got trees. Yeah, you got some trees, but we got big trees.
Yeah.
And animals and black squirrels from Canada.
Yeah. Do your benches say anything? Because you know how the benches in Baltimore will say the greatest city in America. You have any benches with big claims?
We have benches that say follow this person on IG.
Is it the Cleveland podcast?
Your benches
Potentially.
say the greatest city on earth, but I just went to this. What was that website called again?
Areavibes.com.
Everybody else forgot what the name was.
Yeah.
That quickly. And they said you had a lot of D- and Fs.
Yeah, that's true. But our benches will always vouch for us.
Right? Oh, too bad there wasn't a bench category.
I'll be sure to add one. I'll go to areavibes.com and let them know they need to add a benches category.
And think about, we have a small island in the middle of the lake. You just have a bunch of dead oysters at the bottom of the Chesapeake.
And live oysters.
But they're going extinct.
Yeah. We've got the first free public library. Circling back to like history.
The first ever.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Crabs.
The answer to that is yes.
Oh. But the biggest question of all is, do you have the Cleveland podcast? That is the biggest question.
I actually, there is a growing contingent of Baltimore people who listen to the Cleveland podcast, mostly just from me telling them about it, and people who have known Fred from his pre-podcasting days. And I think the main thing that I was looking for in a podcast, I was like, I really like the Cleveland podcast, and I was looking for something similar in Baltimore, and I can't find anything. So
Ha!
that's pretty
Right.
cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that blew my mind when we started this. I'm like, this has to exist already.
Nope.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I can't believe it.
We took that space and now we run it.
There's a couple. There's like This Week in Cleveland, done by Cleveland.com. And there's like a couple of niche things.
Yeah.
And but there's not something like this. And it blows my mind. And I think that kind of goes back to Nate's comment about how you can become a leader very easily in the city
Absolutely.
because other people aren't doing it. It's
Right.
It's a state of mind, man. It's very easy to excel.
Exactly. Does Baltimore have that mindset?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to, depends on who you ask. I
There's
think.
no Baltimore podcast. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll have to go home and make that a thing.
maybe Nate can go to Baltimore.
Go try that.
Like, just like an hour drive, right?
Yeah, an hour drive.
Yeah.
So switching gears here for a bit. I spent pretty much the whole day touristing around Cleveland, and I don't know. It
In
was
the
great.
snow, in the rain.
Yeah, and even in the
slush.
snow, even in the rain, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland.
did you see?
Great. So we mostly saw the museums, but I think just driving around, I'm a big fan of just driving tours. And so just looking around, looking at the architecture, very nice. We went through downtown a little bit. The skyline, a lot of people on city data and on areavibes.com seem to like the skyline of Cleveland better. I don't know about that, but it definitely is a very nice skyline. I'm always a fan of those.
You know what I did like about Baltimore when I visited? I've only been there once.
Sure.
The Orioles baseball stadium.
Oh yeah,
That's
Camden
really,
Yards.
that's
Very
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah.
But do they win?
And all the ships in
Yeah.
the harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story. We're going to talk about some funny stories with Fred, but I was going to work on a pirate ship as one of my summer jobs back when I was a teenager. So that's a thing you can do in Baltimore. You can work as a guide on a pirate ship. That's pretty nice.
But in the end, though, we all can agree on one thing, though. That's definitely the Cleveland's 100% better in, and that is Frisbee.
Well, I don't know about that. I coach a Frisbee team back in Baltimore, our Towson University women's team. So shout out to them. I'm not sure. I'm torn. I'll just say I'm torn because I am looking at the Frisbee offerings out in Cleveland, and obviously I know a lot of organizers, very good organizers. And I also have been on the website for like Cleveland Ultimate Disc, and it's a lot cleaner than Baltimore's offering. So that's cool. But
Ooh.
I mean, most Baltimore people go play in DC, which is pretty nice.
But
Nice.
it's DC.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about like in Baltimore, you can go somewhere else and have a pretty good time, and in Cleveland, you can go somewhere else. Like
This is
Niagara
a
Falls.
highly specific episode towards
This is highly.
Ultimate Frisbee and Baltimore.
But still, though, Case Western went to the big national tournament a couple times. Yes, Maryland did, but Maryland's not in Baltimore, is it? Not University of Maryland.
Yeah, when you're talking about Baltimore teams, it's probably not gonna end too well.
Aha! There we go. Not only that, even the Cleveland State team's kind of good, maybe, if they exist.
They do exist. I don't think they're not better than my school, so that's cool.
Even the pickup groups
Teams.
might be better.
Well, we'll see about that. I'm gonna check those out. I think tomorrow, and we'll see how good they're.
There's a group that I belong to that's on Sundays that you're going to visit.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm being
you're
told that
gonna
I'm
play
going. Yeah,
Yeah, this is Saturday. You're playing tomorrow morning?
yeah.
Yeah.
Turns like
Tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. You know, that's the biggest pickup group around in the Cleveland area. Does Baltimore get about 30, 40 people attending at Pop?
No, I have looked at the Meetup app around here, and the offerings are very nice. So that's cool. I'm starting to see what you mean about like anyone can be a leader. Just sort of the entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. Very nice, because in Baltimore you don't really have the option, or you're not forced to do that because you could just go to DC or you could go to Philadelphia. So I think maybe just being in by yourself, or just you and Akron and Canton together, sort of makes that spirit happen.
There we go. Even the Baltimore person agrees. Cleveland Frisbee's on top.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. Anyone ever?
Definitely not DC Frisbee, but the Baltimore people go to DC, and that doesn't count. That does not count in this very specific, very, very objective context.
Yeah, let's try and search engine optimize this as much as possible. So like the 3 people that are interested in this topic, we can like get them.
But you know what? I think it goes beyond that too. I mean, think of all the people that we've met, that we've had on this podcast. Think of Alex.
Right.
You know, he's amazing in the community.
Right.
Think of Ariel. He does the veggie potlucks.
Right. He even got on Vice News for some of the stuff that he does. But not the veggie potluck, though.
It's I don't want to call it easy because I don't want to make it seem lesser than it is.
But there's more opportunity.
There's more opportunity.
Kind of grasp the bull by the horns and to really create something of your own value here.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's great for me. Look what we did.
Maybe in DC, like what Nate was talking about, maybe you could try to do the same thing and you wouldn't get as much traction.
Well, also
you wouldn't impact as many lives
because there's 5 other people who've done it already.
Right.
Because it's DC. But then there is, however, one big question though that we must resolve though.
Yeah.
What is better, the Baltimore Fred or the Cleveland Fred?
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have to start, and I'll set the scene for what Baltimore Fred is like. Very, very similar to the Fred you all know. In middle school, shortly after I learned we had started becoming friends, Fred was telling me about how in elementary school they used to call him Fredizzle. That was his nickname. Apparently. Yeah. So for a while he was known as Fredizzle.
We're getting the dirt now.
Yeah,
This is
dirt now.
You're getting some good stuff.
Yeah. So okay, I have another. I'm sort of like gathering these as we're speaking. One that it's like a family. It's family lore for my family now. He was at my house once, and I had a relative come over. Relative from the like South, the actual South, not like Maryland. And I hadn't seen him often, so he wanted to give me something, and he gave me I think it was like $20. And so Fred, he goes up to my great uncle and is like, "I'll be your nephew too, $20." And so my great nephew found it so funny that he just gives Fred $20. And that is like a story that like my family repeats like constantly. Like I haven't seen this guy in probably like 5 years. And he's like, "I remember that guy who got that $20 from me."
Because I was indeed a cocky little gun. My confidence was not projected in a more refined manner at that point. So I just said, "I need $20."
Yeah. Young Fred, let him be a lesson to everyone. Shoot your shot. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. I got $20 out of it. Got me some nice donuts from that deal.
Yeah, is that what you spent that money on?
Oh, yeah. After we practiced, I would just go to the donut shop.
Oh, yeah.
Get 5 donuts and come back home. How do you think I kept gaining weight after all that Frisbee running?
They're all that Frisbee running. Yeah.
5 donuts, man.
Yeah, that was a thing that we did in high school, Frisbee.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the best story I can give you from that, I think, was we were coming back. We had like a college alumni team sort of playing in one of the area leagues. And Fred had come back in from Cleveland. It was like his first year at Case or something like that. And so we're running around. He gets like a really big play and just calls a timeout. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm too tired. I'm injured now. That's my injury. I'm tired." And just kind of like gets off the field. And oh my gosh, it was so funny, so funny.
It's true though. I think I was guarding someone from the Japanese beach national team or something. I think it was that game. And I was just like, this guy is too wicked fast. I'm just gonna say I felt a little bit of pain in my ankle.
Curl up in a ball and just kind of like, "No, I'm too injured. That's enough Frisbee for one day."
Yeah, I was like, I can't cover this guy anymore. That was the one time where I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But nowadays I make a lot of business decisions. If someone's gonna if someone's gonna be running down full force, I just go, "You know what? I need to record another podcast episode. I don't need to run after you."
Yeah, but I think that's like a thing that everyone does, and then like any pickup is just kind of, I'm going to make a tactical choice here. There's a lot of strategy there.
Absolutely, there definitely is. Although I do trust that most people will drop it, and believe it or not, I just go, "Is it going to drop it?" Yes.
Yeah. So another thing, this probably isn't related, but as an avid listener of the show, I just want to say I have 3 major takeaways that I had to. If I ever got on the podcast, I would have to say for all the people who are probably thinking it at home. The first one is that Caesar has the best podcast voice of all. Like, it is amazing. I understand, like, Fred is my friend, and I, really appreciate him, but like Caesar has a great podcast voice.
Oh, I know that.
100%.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you.
It's like an ASMR sort of, or like it's like he's right in your house and it's like a guy you can talk to,
Very soothing.
Yeah, very soothing.
I might be seen as nails on a chalkboard.
Well, you're seen as the guy talking to Caesar. But, yeah.
I think some of our commercials kind of make fun of that. It's like the Hulk.
Yeah, right.
And the other guy. Yeah. That's right.
Oh, and for listeners, I just want you all to know that Caesar does look like how his voice sounds. Like, it's very, like, I didn't know what to expect, but yeah, he looks like how he sounds.
Our last guest, Matt, he's like, "I really want to know so badly, what does Fred look like?" You have no idea. Like, when it's audio only.
Yeah, right.
You have no idea. You don't really know what somebody looks like, but you have like an idea, but you just don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then when have you ever like local radio? Have you ever looked at the people that are,
Oh yeah, no. It's just it's like, don't meet your heroes, it just kind of ruins the experience for you.
But just people don't look like they sound.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I kind of feel like with dating and stuff,
Yeah.
I almost feel like people should do like podcast dating.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
Podcast Tinder.
Could you imagine
That's the next big app.
what that would be like? Like, okay, we're going to, we should do that. We should do like a side podcast, a dating side podcast. we should have two people interact for the first time who have never seen each other.
Right.
And then like in the first segment, we should have it all on podcast, like on phone.
Yeah.
And then in the second segment, we should have them meet in person and see each other, how they look, and how much differently the conversation goes.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a show on Fox probably like next fall.
Caesar and I definitely have a lot of great ideas, though. I guess big buckaroos in the movie or TV business.
I'm starting to wonder. I don't think this one's it. But I think we could do a lot of side things that would.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second thing was it is South Bay Caesar. I thought for probably the first 5 episodes it was soft baked Caesar. Like a potato sort of thing.
And that was like one of our first practice episodes that we did back in the old days.
Yeah.
Like in the late 1800s, early 1900s. They kept seeing these sea monsters. And since he was Fred the Mud Monster, I was South Bay Caesar. And there was this sea monster that people would see in Lake Erie called South Bay Bessie. So I was South Bay Caesar.
Yeah.
And we never really rolled with that. It went more in the Caesar salad direction.
Yeah. Well, season 2, new year.
Yeah.
New beginning.
So now people know why the intro says South Bay
Yeah.
Caesar.
South Bay Caesar.
Yeah.
I just like the salad idea better.
Yeah. You just take it in whatever direction you want. All right. And then our third thing, I know that Fred definitely also looks the way that he sounds. So for anyone wondering that also.
We should ask our last guest.
Should ask. It's like, what does Fred and Caesar look like? What can you imagine?
Well, he already knew what I look like.
Right.
Oh, I do remember the last thing. The setup studio is very nice. This is a very nice upscale studio for anyone wondering. This is they have me in luxury here.
State of the art.
Yeah, make sure that you are a guest on the Cleveland podcast.
This
They treat you very nice.
pretty much looks like a high school classroom or junior high classroom.
Yeah.
I just think of it
Actually,
as
we took a
college.
photo of you, so we'll post it and people can see the stupid chairs in the background.
They'll see me getting ready for school.
We are so classy.
Yeah.
Like we've got our stuff together.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
We found this room. This room has become the secret place of.
Yeah.
to record
This is
so
where we
much.
did our practice episodes, right?
We did a practice episodes. We've done so many interviews.
And then they
here.
locked us out over the summer. Was it?
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then we had to go to those places, and then because the sound in this room is so good.
Right.
And then when we first started having our problems, that's when we had to leave this room because it's got carpet, and the only thing in here is these creaky chairs.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I can't make yours is creaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Think of all the case students who don't even know that they've sat in the same seats that the Cleveland podcast has been filmed in.
I know.
Oh yeah, I was saying that to the grad class I was in all semester long because we were in this room, and I would say, I sat in that chair, and they would move a chair back.
Yeah. Well, they're giving you the chair because that's your chair.
Oh, yeah. But I would be like, I sat there, and then they all moved to the back, just like we did not want to associate with this man anymore. I was like, oh, that's not nice.
Yeah. I have to bring in a special chair since you're so big, being a mud monster and all.
That's true.
Yeah.
8 foot, 800 pounds of sexy mud.
Yeah. How many case people do you think listen to this? Do you think the case provost is listening to this right now and it's like, we have to get them out of here right now. They can't film here.
I think one or two.
We're shooting. Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3. But we're going to start spreading our word a little bit to
Right.
some of the students here because obviously they're here in Cleveland. Might as well listen to something that can teach them a little bit.
We need one of those guns where we could take our business cards and like blow them up.
Oh, I was thinking like a t-shirt cannon that you would just shoot at.
Oh,
kids
that's what I was
on
thinking too, yeah.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to get that through at this day and age, but off campus, t-shirt cannon.
Shoot out business cards.
Yeah, or get
Into the
a
streets.
plane guy, just kind of
Oh yeah.
airdrop them over the campus.
Or one of those big banners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How much are those? Those big old banners?
I'm sure they're cheap.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost much to run an airplane, does it?
I know it's a joke, but
Yeah, Fred's looking up as we speak.
How much do airplane banners cost?
Yeah.
let's see.
Well, you could have like a community, a live shooting, a live recording while there's a busy campus going on, just kind of take people out from the crowd and
Yeah.
have them.
We should actually do that. We're
Yeah.
just lazy
Yeah. Well,
and busy and busy.
Yeah.
We're busy and lazy.
Wait, hold on. I'm about to get it.
All right.
And 500 to 3,000 per flight.
okay.
Wait, what is it?
500 to 3,000 per flight.
Oh, 500 to 3,000?
Mhm.
That's a big range.
Massive audiences could be targeted for as little as 2,800 per day or as low as $200 per flight, depending on location. Hopefully, Cleveland's cheap enough.
Yeah, I'm sure that you've got that in the mud bank.
Oh, well, we do. We actually might want to seriously do this.
The South Bay Bank.
We
Mud
might
bank.
actually want to seriously do this.
Yeah, something tells me it's a lot more expensive than that.
Yeah.
Well, we have to. We won't know until we look
right.
at it.
You are listening to
Like
the
$500
process right now.
$500 is Des Moines, Iowa.
I mean, even Des Moines is a little more respectable than that. It's
Yeah.
$550.
Yeah, you'll have to get
600
someone
for
You'll
Baltimore.
have to get someone from Des Moines in here to. That was a dig.
Ooh.
You should get someone from Des Moines in here to like defend their city if you're
I
gonna
know, right?
if you're gonna trash it like
we
that.
We should.
Next podcast episode: Des
Moines versus Cleveland.
Yeah.
I actually know a PhD student who went to Boise State. That's kind of. I mean, that's Idaho.
Boise is
Idaho.
one of the up and coming cities. I think.
Really?
Yeah. Them
Huh.
in Salt Lake. Yeah, I think.
Oh, who would have thought?
Yeah. It seems very similar to Cleveland. It seems.
I mean, it seems like everything
Boise is
similar.
nothing like Cleveland.
Trust me
Boise,
on that.
and it's Boise.
Boise.
It's we always say Boise, and they're like, no, it's not Boise, it's Boise. Yeah, which sounds stupid.
Yeah, I just prefer Boise. Sorry.
Don't go to
Boy.
Boise. Go to Boise.
Is it like a Jersey Joycey sort of?
If you have a choice between Boise and Boise, go to Boise.
Yeah, there's a little crossroad when you're entering into Idaho. It's just like, you want to go to Boise or Boise?
That's right.
Thank you so much, my good friend.
Always a
Of
pleasure.
almost 2.5 decades.
Yeah.
Of almost
We're pushing this is gonna
One and
be
a half.
decade two. Yeah,
Yeah.
1.5.
1.5 decades. You know, it's an honor to have you here, the super fan.
Yeah.
And of course, it was wonderful to talk about Cleveland versus Baltimore. We know the clear answer here. It's Cleveland.
Yeah. On the Cleveland podcast, it has to be Cleveland. Oh, yeah. And,
Exactly.
Shout out to areavibes.com.
And that is the end of our podcast. Shout out to Area Vibes. See you later.
Later.
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.